Hello again. Instead of making you wait an entire month for everything I'm reading in February, I decided to also do smaller videos for the books I've read and completed. I just finished this one, One Day in December by Josie Silver. Okay, we need to talk about this. This book. It gets such good reviews, and I didn't hate it. I almost hated it. Okay. Let's start with the premise. The premise is exactly the kind of book I like. It is about like love at first sight and kind of a destined love kind of soulmate thing, without maybe some of the metaphysical that implies. Basically, it's about Laurie. It's set in London, mostly in London. It's set in England anyway, but in Scotland. Okay, start over. Laurie is riding a bus home one day in December. It's actually more like night, but you know, whatever. And she's looking out the bus window, and she sees this guy at a bus stop. And like, it's like zing, right? Cupid's arrow. And he looks up and he sees her, and she's kind of silently urging him get on the bus, and he finally kind of pulls himself together to get on the bus, and the bus pulls away. Okay. I admit, like, at the beginning, I was all in. I liked Laurie because it's told from, or it was, the first part was told from her point of view, and then she goes back with her flatmate Sarah, and they spend like almost a year looking for busboy, they call him, and you know, they can't find him. London's big. What are you gonna do? I don't know why you wouldn't just go back to that bus stop or that area at that time of day and see if maybe he takes that bus regularly. Like, it's true that he might not, but it's just as likely that he does, or that he's down in that area on a semi-regular basis, assuming he's not a tourist or a visitor of some kind. They didn't really talk about that. Would have been the first thing I did, but okay. They just go hang out at a lot of bars, basically. What if he's not a bar person? I mean, I guess in London, maybe everybody is. I don't know. Okay, anyway, he was reading a book, though. Never mind. Okay, anyway. Already I was kind of like, I don't know if this is the way I'd go about it, but that isn't really the point, because the story isn't just her looking for him. I think that almost might have been a more interesting book, a year of trying to find this guy. But instead, we move straight on to like the following December, where they're having their annual, she and her flatmate Sarah are having their annual holiday party, and Sarah's bringing home her new boyfriend, and of course, this is not really a spoiler, but of course it's busboy, whose name is Jack. Now, again, questions. After, like, Laurie's description of this guy, is Sarah just dense, not to kind of notice that this guy looks like what Sarah was looking for? Or, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Sarah got zinged too, and she was so into it. Because apparently, to force him to ask her out, she stopped the elevator they were on in their work building. Anyway. So then, you know, it's this complicated love triangle of Laurie trying to be friends to Jack instead of, like, hang on, my cat. Hi, Crowley. Say hi. No. Alright. Anyway, sorry. He was like scratching at the door, and I don't know if you guys could hear it, but I could hear it, and that really like bugs me, so it makes it hard for me to concentrate. And it's already hard for me to concentrate, as you can probably tell. Anyway, where were we? So, Laurie's trying to be friendly with Jack for Sarah's sake, and kind of push down her feelings and think of him as like her best friend's boyfriend as opposed to the guy she wants to be dating. And now my cat's like moving shit around. Okay. And she's not even sure Jack remembers her. But then we start getting Jack's point of view, like, folded in. And the book goes between Laurie and Jack's point of view from there on out. And it becomes this, like, ongoing thing. And the problem for me with this book was that Laurie and Jack became less likable as the story went on. And, because I really liked Laurie at the beginning. I liked her tone and everything. And then, like, I don't know, it became, you know, a lot of self-pitying, and Jack's kind of actually horrible. And so I was like, oh, maybe this is going in the direction of love at first sight doesn't mean it's the person for you, because they could be terrible and it's all just chemistry. I don't know. But it was not great. And yeah, and then, I mean, the ending was predictable. It goes pretty much where you would expect for a book like this. But I did like the way it was done. So I think ultimately I gave this book 3 stars on Goodreads. It really would have been more like 2, and I think still it's more like 2.5 for me, but I rounded up because in school you learn 0.5, you round up, I guess. But I mean, there's obviously the problematic, love triangle, like, and kind of being sneaky about, like, Sarah's, like, almost too perfect as a character anyway, and, like, I didn't like anybody. I didn't like anybody in this book. That's the problem. There's no one to like. There's no one... And I think the author is maybe trying to make well-rounded characters, so they're all very flawed, but they're all more flawed than interesting or more flawed than good. Or they were for me. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm just saying. I really wanted to read this. It was, like, super recommended for me a lot. Because it's my kind of theme, but I'm also not... I don't read a lot of chick lit, as it's called. I don't know if that's... That term seems kind of derogatory to me. But anyway, and so maybe there's just something here that's not connecting for me. I think... Yeah, people go, well, you're too old for chick lit. Well, come on, I was 20-something once. I remember what that's like. I'm not that old. And I can read about older characters and kind of project what being older is going to be like, and I can read YA and remember what it's like to be a teenager, too. So I don't think there's an age thing here. I just think... I think the characters here make some pretty terrible decisions, and it's not like, one bad decision. It's like they make bad decisions in the way that kind of awful people tend to make continuously bad decisions. I guess I'm saying if I knew someone like this who was making decisions like this, I'd go, this person's either an idiot or just not a good person. And neither one of those kinds of people are people I want to read about or root for in a book or a movie. I mean, this is definitely like, it feels like it was written to be some kind of Hallmark movie or something. It definitely has that vibe. Like she was going for the film option when she was writing it. I don't know, but. Would I read something else by her? What else does she... I don't even know what else she's written. Maybe... She's not a bad writer. The book was way longer than it needed to be, because it kind of meandered off into other side dramas. It could have been like 100 pages shorter, much faster. I found it harder and harder to slog through the middle and towards the back end, I started skimming until I got to the, you know, the big denouement. But, yeah, I don't know. Not my favorite book. Not terrible. Maybe just not for me. Anyway, if you've read it, tell me in the comments what you thought of it, or what you think of stories about crushing on your best friend's boyfriend or girlfriend. A lot of people seem not to like those kinds of stories. I would say that you can't always help, excuse me, can't always help who you, like, fall for, but how you behave is totally the important part there. And to be fair, Lori tries very hard to behave well, but things still kind of go off the rails. Okay, that's all I have for you today. See you next time. I'm reading Bluebird Bluebird by Attica Locke right now, so stay tuned and we'll talk about that one.